Oh, dear one. I wanted to share something that was the result of some deep contemplation with the part of me that has struggled with suicidal thinking. Um, and I was looking at this part through the lens of internal family systems as a firefighter who really can't handle the nonstop manager who is very critical of me and like wanting me to be perfect. And that part sometimes is so incessant that the firefighter is like, you know what? If we just died, then we wouldn't have to live up to these expectations anymore, and we could stop experiencing this nonstop like cruelty about not living up to the expectations. And as I spent time with the two of them, I was given this sort of like allegorical framework for what they have been experiencing, and I wanted to share it with you. Okay. So, um, here we go. Imagine if there was a terrible monster who slept in the mountain. One time, the monster woke up and the monster erupted, and it was like a volcanic eruption, and it almost killed everyone in the whole town. The few people who survived were badly burned. They had lost limbs and were disfigured, and they were in pain forever. They lost their parents, their siblings, their children, all their homes and possessions and crops and animals. They suffered hunger and pain and grief for years. The monster seemed to have gone back to sleep in the mountain. They thought that if it only that it only slept if they were being quiet. So they whispered harshly at each other if anyone talked or cried or laughed. Eventually, over the years, they started putting offerings for the monster, and they started telling the children that the monster required them to follow strict rules, to always be good and nice. And eventually, the survivors became grandparents, and these rules and rituals and cruelty of the control of the adults um, to the children and to each other became greater and greater with time. And even after the grandparents had died, and no one who was living had ever seen or experienced the monster, they only had heard the stories, they still kept reinforcing these rules to each other and to their children with a lot of harshness and cruelty. Like, don't do this, do this. This is the only way that the monster won't come to get us. The monster had stayed asleep, but everyone was so, where's the next part? Everyone was so miserable that they started killing one another when someone would break the rules. They would attack until finally, if the bad people wouldn't stop breaking the rules, they would kill them just so that they wouldn't awaken the monster. And some even offered themselves up as sacrifices to end the suffering of the constant fear of the monster. None of them knew that there wasn't actually a monster. It had just been a regular volcano the whole time. And that one time when it wiped out the whole town, it was because the volcano had erupted. And it had just erupted because that's a part of what a volcano does on the planet. And it had nothing to do with them or their behavior. And so in this allegory, we can think about what monster we're trying not to wake up and ask the question, are we sure that this monster may not just be a volcano that has, for natural causes, erupted, and it wasn't about our character, and it doesn't depend on our following the rules or being good. Okay, I love you so much. I'm sending you gentleness as you navigate your own perceived monsters. Okay, lots of love.